But even when you teaching the kids something different, you actually educating the adults. Because when you talk about Christopher Columbus, you got to talk about the Moors. You got to. I mean, it's some stuff that you just can't, they gloss over, and it's like, yo, them was the real, like what he was saying. Those was the ones actually building the ships and navigating the seas. You know what I mean? And we got, even with stuff like cowboys, you think of cowboys, you think just white people, and they don't tell the story of the black cowboy. You know what I mean? Like it's those type of stories that need to get told.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's yours truly, Melly Mel, right here on Unapologetic Podcast, your number one. I have a few kings on the show today, man. This is the first time I got two old kings with me. These two individuals, man, are phenomenal in my book. They're entrepreneurs, they're fathers, they're authors, they're scholars, they're coaches, you name it. Right here we have the one and only Taya Uhuru, man. The king is actually not in the States, y'all. He's way back in the motherlands, man. I can't wait to visit too. West Side, of course. And of course, we got Marquis. We have Marquis Childers. Y'all know who he is. If you don't know, this king has created his very own wine business, man. It's fantastic. It tastes good. It's a perfect gift for me. If you're thinking about sending me one, I will take it humbly. You know, he's also a coach. He a down-to-earth brother, just like any other. And the topics that we hear every day as amongst black men in the community, how do you guys see it as far as you started like becoming an entrepreneur? We have this type of mentality once you become, you know, a person that's a black owned business or a business owner, period. It's hard out here trying to connect with the right people. And then when you start moving and you start talking to others, it's almost as if sometimes it's almost as if they stop you for reaching that goal, not thinking like, well, if this is going to become, you know, a part of the community, it can benefit us all. And it's like we see that every day. I see it every day, you know, if not nobody else. And it's like, and to myself, I'm like, what is that? Why do we do that? Why do we think like that? What is y'all intake on that?
Man, I think self-hate got a lot to do with it. That's one of the biggest generational curses we got to break. If you don't love yourself, you know, it's going to be hard to support people that look like you and want to see them be successful. And then also just lack of knowledge and information, you know, not really knowing how and knowing the importance of showing support. Because a lot of time as black people, we support a black business almost as if it's charity. Like, oh, let me do something nice today. Let me support
Yeah.
this young. Here go $20. Here go $100. But other ethnic groups of people, this is their way of life. This is how they survive. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Asians, Italians, Jewish, Muslims, they support their own first and foremost. And then if they can't find a product or they don't make a product, then they'll go outside. But 90% of what we buy and use and need is provided by other groups of people.
Right. Marquis, what you think, King?
Man. He pretty much hit that one on the nose. Only thing I would add, the only thing I can add to that is with the self hate is self hate you lack confidence and confidence and again access to that information. You know, because a lot of people don't take the step because they have it in their head already of, man, if I do this, it ain't gonna work, man. It ain't even gonna work, or they ain't gonna
Yep.
like that, man. Who gonna buy that, man? Stuff like that. So to even be bold enough to, as an entrepreneur, you gotta have some boldness. So to be
Right.
bold enough to even step out there is first and foremost, and then again, everything he said. I mean, I couldn't say it no better.
Yeah, man. I'm tell you really did like explain that a lot better, man. How I was thinking it, because it's more. I really do see the self hate, and it's like, how do we go upon changing that by changing that type of mindset in our culture. And I'm like, well, we, in my eyes, we have to start, putting actions into that. Because talking about it, we hear talk show hosts talk about it. We hear government legislations, we hear community leaders, and not knocking those ones that actually put in the work, but those who just talk about it. I feel like it's about time we put in action. We need to show it through our examples of why is this important, why loving ourselves, and then that transcending to our people that we will be around every day, the people we talk to, our loved ones, even our children. You hear kids on the street sometimes sounding like adults. You got to turn your head a few times, like, wow, man, this is a 9-year-old kid. Like, but you can't get mad at the child because he or she is only reciprocating what they were shown. So it's like, okay, we just that little bit right there in my eyes, it's like, to me, that's more than enough for me to be like, you know what? It's time to change, man. It's time to show our youth and show myself as a man, as a Black man, that I'm able to do this and have this type of change. But I want to ask Tay, man, what do you see in the world that in the Black community that you feel like it's a beautiful thing that you haven't seen before?
I mean, it's a lot of beautiful things in terms of Black people. I mean, we was the first scientists, the first martial artists, the first astrologers, the first mathematicians. You know what I'm saying? Not only the first, but we the best, we the fastest, we the strongest, we the best fighters, we the best singers, we the most creative. We set the trends. We taught every group of people in the world. No other group of people can say that. So they all pinch off of us. So the beautiful things that you see throughout this world, whether it be physical, whether it be spiritual, or whether it be, cultural, musically, a lot of those things. We are the trends, not only the people that started it, but like I say, we the best of the best. So that's what I find beautiful. And the more you dig into your history, it creates a greater level of self-confidence.
Right.
Self-esteem is very empowering, and then you'll have more respect for other Black people, and then you'll look at your Black brothers and sisters, not only in your family but in your community and all across the world, differently.
Man, wow. Man, you got a book over there or something, man? You over there reading something, bro. Stay up there reading books, bro. He just sound like a scholar in this book, making
You
us sound.
cooking, man. Hey,
God
you
dang,
cooking.
man. I should have thought about what my answers go. What you think, Marky D? What would you put on the table for that?
Man, I can't. He hit that. I can't answer. I say this though. This what I say. To the point when you said with the kids and knowing what they see and things like that, or why is that like that in the community. He pretty much gave you the root cause, right? Because in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you come from.
Mm,
And a lot of people, we do lack self knowledge too of history. So we've been taught from school,
yeah,
slaves. So if you're thinking you come from slaves, and then the more you keep going into history, you got Jim Crow. Um, then these movies that keep coming out, it's like a reiteration of
right. Like 12
this.
slaves,
Yeah,
root,
it's a
all the,
reiteration of that. And it's
yeah.
like, yo, how about we make them? What about the kids? Even with Black History Month, we show the same stuff. What about teaching about Mansa Musa? Actually teaching,
Mm,
showing the kids something different.
mm,
But even when you teaching the kids something different, you actually educating the adults. Because when you talk about Christopher Columbus, you got to talk about the Moors. You got to. I mean, it's some stuff that you just can't. They gloss over, and it's like, yo, them was the real, like what he was saying. Those was the ones actually building the ships and navigating the seas. You know what I mean? And we got
right.
even with stuff like cowboys. You think of cowboys and think just white people, and they don't tell the story of the Black cowboys. You know what I mean? Like it's those type of stories that need to get told. And it's more Black Wall Street that was out there. It's just we only get certain bits and pieces of the history that's taught to us from grade
Man,
level all the way up into college, and then it's like, well, then you gotta go do your own history. You gotta really go do some real deep
see
researching about
that
that though.
that's what I wanted to do actually for myself as well, and for the viewers that are out there that are watching. You know, Tay, you actually do that type of thing, don't you not? Do you not? Like look up history, family history of those who wants to find out about themselves, you know, their family and stuff like that.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm a genealogist, so I basically help people retrace their roots. Predominantly Black Americans, but I work with Mexicans, Europeans,
Right.
Jamaicans, so it's not
Everywhere.
limited. Right. So I help people look into the 1900s, the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. I find a lot of
Man,
old
that's
documents,
hold on, bro.
census
That's like
records.
what 500, 600 years?
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of that
Man,
information is still there, so we think like it's lost. Some of
yeah,
it is lost, but not all of
yeah.
it. So you could look at census records, death certificates, birth certificates. They still have slave schedules, where you can find out where you got your last name from. Most Black people is named
Man,
after a white person.
hey, I swear to God, my last name ain't real Johnson. It's Johnson, man. I know it isn't, man. My name cannot be Melvin, man. Because I looked up my name. My name actually comes from Scotland. So I have an Irish name. You feel? I'm not saying that I can't be, but to my in my heart, man, I feel like my name is something totally different because that little piece that I've studied and looked up for myself, man, it kind of got me thinking like, I'm not even, I don't even see myself being a part of Scotland or Ireland, but that family history, it might be something different. But to sum it all up, that is how I started for me creating my platform, Unapologetic Podcast, because I'm like, the more knowledge I seek, I looked for, like you gentlemen, it's like the more stuff that popped in my head that I wanted to do. And so I started a business, a family business and stuff. And I started networking, and I wanted to know more of who I can able to network with and collaborate with, and it was beautiful. It created a bridge, like, to me, to you guys. So it was like, wow. So that right there, I feel like was my highlight to push me to be, hey, get going, man. And then I wanted to ask you, Marky D, what made you start your journey on becoming this entrepreneur in the wine business, man? Because you got to tell us a little bit, because you you don't hear a lot of brothers, young brothers, as young as you are, starting a wine company and being successful and getting a license and everything. The, and it's like, and it's growing faster than can comprehend. How did that go about?
Uh, well, honestly, it first started off because I was doing community work. I still do community work too. Um, being
Oh,
that,
okay.
yeah, so it started off with networking. Being the VP of the neighborhood associations of Michigan, I was able to network and meet a lot of different people around the state.
Mm.
And what I found myself doing was really finding myself taking a liking to wine. So then when it became something I really liked to drink, like then I started to go to the store and buy it and buy it. And I'm like, man, why do I had this thought, like, why do I keep buying somebody else's stuff? How do I make it? So
Right.
went to Barnes and Noble, got some books, right? So I had to
Knowledge,
really,
baby,
yeah, I
knowledge.
had to go learn it. I had to learn it first. So I took a while, I learned it. Then when I really felt like I had somewhat of an understanding of it, I then started to pitch the idea of to people just around in this county of Muskegon, and I was just asking like, man, I would say it. I'd say, I'm gonna start a wine business, and they like, you gonna do that? And the way the reactions was, I think that'd be a great idea, and all of that stuff. So it's like, okay, I see it's a market out there for it. So during the pandemic, honestly, it just with that shutdown,
Right.
it gave me all the time in the world to really just be at home. And I'm like, let me figure out how to do this. So first I started off with just homemade wine. I actually started off with homemade wine in the fall prior to the lockdown. And what I did was I passed out different wines. I had only Moscato then. I passed out Moscatos, maybe like 75 Moscatos for Christmas.
Wow.
So I gifted people with
All right.
with Christmas gifts. And the
Yeah.
feedback was so beautiful that I said, okay, that's my niche. I'm going into wine and I'm finna figure out how to produce this wine and I'm finna make it. But not only am I going to go into wine, I'm going to treat it like I would treat basketball, because it's something that's passionate to me. Now it's in my heart. So now I'm figuring that part out. But then when I actually got that passion to do it and seeing people liked it, that like the product that I actually made, I'm like, wow, I actually made this, and I see people really like it, and not just
Yeah.
being nice. You know
Man,
how
Tay
people
gotta
can be
try it,
nice.
man. I was just telling him that I was the red dry wine. I know I wasn't a dry wine person, but you made me a believer that night, man. A couple of nights ago at the tasting, it was beautiful, man. Uh,
Yeah, that's
so
what got me there. Yep.
so what with that, how did you start up, Tay? What was your, you've been on the show before, we could, you my brother, but what like deeply started you on this path of knowledge, man? Because you do more than any person I can put my finger on at this moment. You do it like 7 or 8 things, man. You're a mogul, and you do it so well, and you're so young, and a lot of people now wouldn't believe just a quarter of the stuff that I or Marquise does. It'd be like, oh man, y'all really doing it? Like, wow. But we come to a brother to the yo caliber, which got 7 or 8 different freaking specials. It's like, what made you start this, man?
Oh man, I appreciate you. Good
For
look,
real, man.
hey, I'm gonna have to support the wine business too, man. You have to share the link or the.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I
But
got you. I
yeah, I
got you.
mean for me, okay. Yeah. I mean, for me, it started with my family, just being blessed. Man, when I was little, my grandmother, she told me about her father. He was from Atlanta, then he migrated up to Cleveland during the
Town.
Great Migration in the
Okay.
1920s. So that's when Garvey was big, and he joined the UNIA in Cleveland.
Uh,
And my grandmother, she wasn't an adult, but she went to some of the meetings and some of the marches and stuff. She wasn't a Garveyite, but she was there. And she explained it to me like, my father said that we was Africans and we should go back to Africa. She would give me a little bit of information. And,
right.
just from that point, I really admired Black people and African people and Black history. Then my mom, her daughter, she gave me my first Black history book, Black History A to Z. And then my mom, she would tell me about her brother, my uncle. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? He started his own Black nationalist organization in Cleveland. So his group was at the forefront,
Dang.
you know.
Man, your whole
Mm,
family is like,
mhm.
so do you come from a line of scholars and you sound like a, how can I put it? I want to say Martin Luther King with a little bit of Malcolm, but you got a little mixture of that
Tupac,
too.
man.
Yeah.
Got Tupac in me, man.
For real, man. Wow, just the beginning of that in the 1920s for
Right.
just to have
I
that type of
mean,
mindset back then, man, and to see the evolutionary growth of that same mindset to you, that's a big thing.
Yeah, most definitely. 100 years and running. My family just been, at least my mom's side, they was big on the red, black, and green. Not every single individual person, but just
Right,
certain
right.
men in my family, they really fought for the liberation and the advancement of Black people. So that's something that inspired me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
My mom, she used to drive the
wow.
bus. She was a Greyhound bus driver. She used to drive the local bus and stuff. So she'd take us on trips. We'd go to New York or Detroit or Chicago or Cincinnati. So that's where I kind of developed my love for
Dang.
traveling and seeing new places and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Dang, man. And that's and so just to fast forward a little bit, man, you have done so many interviews, a few interviews. I ain't gonna put the number out there because I don't want to guess it wrong, but the few interviews that I've seen with your podcast, Taye Speaks, Lenny Williams, who else been on there, man? Who else you had on there? You got to give me some feedback.
All right. Let me see. I had DJ Yella from NWA. I had the
Ooh,
comedian Rick. Grant. I interviewed Mo Preem Shakur, Lenny Williams, Orange Juice Jones, one of the guys from 112. I interviewed a couple people from No Limit, Young Bleed, Samo, Miss Peaches. She did all of the hooks for No Limit.
yeah,
There's
yep,
a couple
yep.
more people.
That's Mom Dukes right there. Shout out to
Hmm.
her. that and to hearing stuff like that, it is, I want it to be like, for me it's like that's inspiration, man. That makes me want to drive higher than you're reaching for. And that's like, man, for Marky D, man, for you, you open up a bigger, a broader mindset for me as far as the capabilities of what we can do. I never would have put a brother in a wine business. Me personally, I never would have thought that. So it was like, holy shit, man. So I'm in connection with a king that does 9 different things. I call Tay Inspector Gadget, and then I got I got goddamn it the Brewer brother, one of the Brewer brothers on the so it's like, wow, man, y'all are inspiration to me as far as what y'all are capable of doing and showing me what I'm capable of doing. Like, man, get your behind up, man. Stay focused. Take running circles around you, man. Marky Deep, man, he ain't even stopped yet. You over here trying to catch your breath. So I go hard because of y'all, and I thank y'all. You feel me? And that I feel like we need more of in a Black community, man. And we need those inspirations, that push, that drive, because we'll have a brother say that he'll help you one day and be a part of the team, and then undercutting you the next. So it's like, how do we constantly keep our heads above the water in that type of, in this type of environment, should I say?
I mean, like I say, yeah, it's a dangerous job, man, but somebody got to do it. So, it just come with the territory, man. I done met some foul people, some red, black, and green people that's real foul, foul conscious people, foul, black and brown, whatever, what I'm saying?
Right.
People that's supposed to be for the community, male, female. But we got to understand the greater enemy, the greater threat, you know what I'm saying? And what's
Mm.
going on. We looking at it from a what they say, the people that's closest to it. That's what we could see. You know what I'm saying? We see a black person shooting another black person, or a black person taken from another black person. But
Right.
a lot of these situations that we're in have been created by another group of people. We didn't create the projects. We didn't create crack. We didn't create the Tuskegee experiment. We didn't create the project. We didn't create redlining. We didn't create the prison industrial complex.
Preach.
All of these
He
things
here
that,
preaching, man. It's
you know what
Sunday.
I'm saying? Right, right. So, you just got to stay strong. You got to have thick skin because you meet some good people. Throughout my travels out the world, I met some real good people that helped educate me and enlighten me and taught me things and share information with me. So I think if you just stick with it, stay positive, the good
Right.
is going to outweigh the bad. You know what I'm saying? That's why I just promote positivity. I don't talk about all the bad stuff that happened to me. I try to showcase all of the good things. Just like with Africa, all we see is the negative. So that's why I gotta double up on the good stuff. I gotta show you the beautiful women, the beautiful beaches, the
Man,
beautiful
and it's gorgeous.
houses and stuff. So.
Where are you anyway, brother?
I'm in Cabo Verde. I'm on the west side, West Africa. It's like 10 islands
Ooh.
off the
Hey, you gotta send us a ticket.
right, right.
I'm on there, man. How have you kept above the water? And I know you experienced the same type of thing. We both in the same area. So, what is your intake of it,
Yeah.
and how do you keep above?
Well, I mean, to whom much is given, much is required. That's one way I look at it. I mean, I
Mm,
stay positive. I what can I say? I stay positive, man. I look at it like people gonna talk about you anyway. Whether you're doing something good, whether you're doing something bad, people gonna talk. So
yeah,
why,
that's
I
true.
take control of the narrative and I just give you something to talk about as far as the people who negative go. You know what I mean? But I really
Right.
focus on the positive things in life and keep myself with that law of attraction. I wake up
Yeah.
positive and actually I believe like I actually tell myself I don't have bad days. I may have a moment, but I don't have a bad day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I just keep myself going. I don't really got
Right.
too much time to even focus on the negative. And if something happens, I mean, heck, it's a lesson in it. So it ain't really
Mm,
necessarily a bad thing because in order for you to know what's good, you gotta be able to pinpoint what's bad too and acknowledge it. So I just look at it as
man.
lessons and just keep going. Hmm.
And you being a basketball coach, man, I feel like you teach that to your team a lot.
Oh yeah, I just taught them about they just heard that quote for the first time. To whom much is given, much is required. I had to tell them that yesterday because it's a privilege to be. It's like these are opportunities that every kid in the school probably want to have. So
Right.
you gotta honor that opportunity and really work at it because everybody don't get those chances. So I definitely teach that because it's bigger than basketball. We got to teach these boys how to be men at the end of the day.
Hey man, hey, you're right. You're right, man. I feel like it is a shortage for Black kings, in our generation, in our area. Um, it's like because there wasn't that much of a teaching. I feel like in the 80s and 90s because of Tay what you put up, redlining was hot back, the crack epidemic, uh, then the high incarceration of the Black father, trying to separate, breaking up the Black home. That's huge, man. That's like uh, if you could change one of those three things, it's I feel like us as being Black men, we will be in a better position that we are now, just off for one of those things, in my opinion. And you don't hear that. People are afraid to talk about working with each other, talking about collaborating and networking and teaching others kids besides our own what to the ways of not to do and what to do what's right. And so it's nowadays when you hear that you see a lot of times people won't even click on a web page on a YouTube channel or on a channel. They'll go right past and go to BET, or they'll go to an action movie or love and hip hop. There's always something about drama that really attracts our people now. And it's like, okay, that's entertainment, but what are you learning from it? What are you getting out of it? Is it something that's going to benefit you today, tomorrow, your kids, your future reference, something? And it's like every day is some type of dramatic or dramatic explosion within the entertainment business. And us, me and Tay being, we pretty much I've called us entertainers because people watch us, they listen to us and stuff like that. It's like how for people in our caliber constantly try to get people to watch our stuff and understand where we're coming from. And that's, in my opinion, like how Marky D just said, he was brought up like this is important to our people. This is what keeps us going. So how do y'all take that as, with a grain of salt with how our community is? Like what would you want to change that you think will be a big difference if you could?
I'll go. I think a personal thing with me is changing what's cool, right? So how do we change what's cool? Like, man, I tell my boys, you can flip an ounce, you can flip a house. So changing the hustle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, we gotta figure out a way, because you got a lot of business minded people out there.
Right.
Whether they
For
do it
sure.
however which way they do it, the thing is, how do we get, if I could change that, it'd be changing the hustle. Be a hustler, but switch the hustle up as far as being a legit business, actually doing it that way. So then we not necessarily fighting in the streets. I mean, because other people do fight as far as other races, they fight, but in business, they might just come at you, like sue you, civil laws, things like that. It's a different fight. They not finna just
Right.
take your life. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah. That's a whole different ball game when a gun come involved, or
yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do we,
yeah.
first thing first, getting people out of a survival mentality? Because it's hard to even think about next week when you're trying to make it to tomorrow. You know what I mean?
That's
Um,
true.
and that's systematic. So it's pretty much, that's systematic. That's gonna take community to come together and do it for self by self. And if you ask me, I think it's kind of it is on a positive note. It is a upbeat on that, because now you got way more people going into business now, especially out of this pandemic. You got a lot of people being creative. It's a job shortage for a reason.
Woo!
So,
Hey, I don't.
I mean, I'm just looking at all of those
Man,
things. I'm pretty sure it made people start to think, because I had those thoughts of just mentally changing. Like, man, I need to figure out how to grow my own food, my own fruit, vegetables, things like that. Because it's like, what if it is a food shortage? We don't even know how to
right.
cultivate anything or take care of ourselves. You know what I mean? So back to what I'm saying, just changing what's cool. Changing what's cool. I mean, heck, it's unapologetic. You got weed is legal now, man. Instead of just selling it on the street, maybe you should figure out how to grow it so you can sell it to the dispensary. It's legal,
Simple.
and it's still selling.
Simple.
You still hustling weed. I mean, I'm not trying to promote that, but I mean, it's legal, and it's what we. I mean, do it.
I
We in a
mean,
capitalist society, and the thing is, we don't
you
capitalize on those things that we love in our culture.
man. Actually, I think this goes off what Tay said earlier before he come on and before you come on and give your intake on it. It was like you hit it on the head. It's like we only connect to the other groups or cultures who put out the negativity or put out something that we have already done, pretending like we haven't done it before. But when they do put it out, it's like, oh, now it's cool now because our group of people did it, But when we were on the corner, on the streets and stuff, doing our own thing, trying to make it, it's bad. You're just a nuisance to the community, a nuisance to society. But all of a sudden, when the federal government, they taxing it now, it's in the hospitals, it's on every corner, in Michigan, in Muskegon, Michigan here. So it's just crazy how that transition between cultures. But Tay, what you think about it?
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. I mean, I feel like, changing what's cool. I mean, we'll spend $200 on some shoes, $200 on some jeans, $200 on some weed. You know what I'm saying? We'll spend $100 on the shirt. We'll walk around with $1,000 worth of equipment on. You know what I'm saying? But let's
Man,
invest
you
two
ain't
hundred
lying,
dollars.
bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You are
so
not
just
lying.
thinking what cool. Just let's invest that $200. We can unite economically. We could do more cooperative economics. Financial unity coming together. Even if we are poor, even if we don't have a lot of money, we'll find money for these shoes or these video
Right.
games. So look at you may have a neighborhood. Say like for the viewers, I don't know where they from, but say Look at New York, for example. You got different neighborhoods. You got Queensbridge, you got Corona, Queens,
Right.
you got Southside, you got Jamaica, Queens, you got Flatbush, you got Brownsville, you got Bed-Stuy. So these are all different like black communities. So one of those communities might have 10,000 people or 20,000 people. Imagine if all of these 10, 20,000 people said, all right, everybody, let's put $200 in. What's 200 times 10,000? You feel what I'm saying?
Man,
We could
yee.
open up our own grocery store instead of having 15 corner stores. We could open up our own grocery store. We could sell better quality food, and then we could keep doing it. 5 years later, let's buy some of these abandoned buildings. Everybody put in $100. We'll put a 200 on the
Man,
street. Let's
preach,
buy
bro,
one house
preach.
at a time. You know what I'm saying? Then, and if it's 10,000 of us, I'm sure we got a plumber in there. We got an
Oh man, we
electrician,
got a plumber, electrician,
carpenter. Right? You feel
carpenter,
me?
all that, bro. You know,
Knock
you
off one house
absolutely
at a
right, man.
time. Build it up, and just keep going. Like my man, he doing the wine thing. We could go all the way back to let's put our $200 together and buy some land. Now we can grow the grapes. Now we can
You're
pick
right.
the grapes. Now we can
You-
turn it into raisins or turn it into wine, or you know what I'm saying, and just be in control of everything. Make being independent cool. Not depending on other
Man,
groups of people.
we
We
can
could live
run the
like our
country, y'all. Us
Mhm.
three, we can run the country. I swear to God, just from us three thinking right here and there, bro, we can come up with the laws, the government, the everything. Just the three of us, bro. That this is crazy. Man, both of y'all explained it so well, and it's an everyday thing that we see. And you're absolutely right, Marky D. It's going to take a while, like you said before, man. This is not an easy, quick fix. And so with Tay, with being a what you call it, genie? You got to help. I can't pronounce that.
Genealogy.
Yeah, there we go. Being a genealogist, man, I feel like having that skill will open even more doors to more things that we haven't even touched yet. Medical field, crops, growth, finance, you name it. And so, man, I thank y'all kings, man, for highlighting and telling like it is, man, how it is in the streets and how so contradicting and the hate that we have and we get just because we're black and we're beautiful and we kings and we love and they know we know what we doing. And I'm gonna continue to say it and I'm gonna continue to push it too, along with y'all. But Marky D, man, give us the name of that wine because Tay needs some back home. We got to get them together.
It's Yeah, we do, man. The name of the wine, Estelita. Estelita. It's actually named after my grandmother. That's it. That is her uh real name. We call her
That
Mimi, but that's a real name.
unique.
So, yeah.
That's a unique name, man. Estelita, man. It sounds like it's supposed to be a
Estelita.
wine, bro. That's how crazy.
You
That
know,
sounds like a wine. That's $100 a bottle on the cheap end. I'm, you hear me? Man.
yeah, I
Man, so
appreciate it. I do
when will it be
appreciate
in
it.
stores? When can we see it on the web page? You got a web page for us?
Yeah, I'm actually we just received a license yesterday. So really
That's
everything could
what's
be
up.
everything could be ready for sale and launch as far as website. You will be able to order off the website, and that will happen on Black Friday.
Ooh,
So changing the,
I like the narrative.
you know,
I like the narrative. Okay.
man,
Yeah,
again,
you planned
changing
this
what's
one for
cool.
a
I
minute.
mean, again, we gotta actually start walking how we talk, right? So changing what's cool. We're gonna actually redefine that Black Friday. We're gonna actually buy black. You
I
know what I
love
mean?
it, man. I love it, King. Say, you
Mhm.
got anything for us, brother? Man, you do so much, man. Don't give us the whole book because I ain't got that much time. I do got it done. I know you got somebody new that you're gonna be popping up on Taye Speaks. You gotta have me on there, man. I can't wait to be on there.
Oh yeah, no doubt, gang. Just let me know when you're ready. I mean, yeah, if y'all want to check me out, My podcast is Taye Speaks. You can check it out on YouTube. You can follow me on IG, Taya Uhuru, Facebook, Taya Uhuru, and that's my YouTube as well.
Man, check them out, man. Thank y'all, Kings, for actually stepping in. You know, we always busy, got something to do, either the kids or our business. Yeah, but we keep innovating ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Unapologetic, your #1 podcast. Remember to go check out Marquis D on Black Friday when they drop Estelitas. That's so cold, man. I gotta write that down, man. I gotta learn how to spell that. And of course, the King Tay up in the building, man. He's doing so much. Check him out. Taye Speaks. It will be on my links on my Facebook page and IG. So you know we're gonna share the love like we always do, man. But thank y'all, Kings, for tuning in. Tay, man, you got to send me some pictures of the motherland at least a few times, man. Send us something, man. That's cool. I can't wait to visit at Marquis D, man. Congratulations on becoming official brother on the wine business man. I can't wait to Black Friday. So love y'all and peace, and we're gonna keep it unapologetic.